Hiya, good afternoon, it's Ali here, and I'm doing the colour along with this image for you as promised. And this image is by a lovely artist called Laety Esperanza. The image is actually available quite freely on her web page, on her Facebook page, and in her Facebook group. So if you just go into your search bar and type in Laety Esperanza, that's Laety Esperanza, just checking, and it will pop up, and you'll be able to download that quite freely and use it, colour it and pop it into other groups or pages as you see fit. So today I'm going to be using a combination of Faber-Castell Polychromos, and I'm going to be using Prismacolours as well. So I've just done a really quick little sort of swatch of the colours that I will be using. The polys, I've got cinnamon, light flesh, medium flesh, dark flesh, rose carmine, and these are just for the skin tones, these ones. And then the Prismas, I'm using a combination of pink rose, cream, light peach and beige. And what I tend to do is, those are my go-to colours for skin, but as I go through the colouring process with you, hi Helen, I will be able to shout out the colours that I am using, whether they be the Polys or the Prisma, and kind of help you out. Okay, so there are going to be two labs for this. Today I'm doing the skin and the dress, and possibly, if we get time, the flowers, because I just want to make these about an hour. Hi Kathy, an hour at a time, so that basically people aren't sitting for a long time. And then I'm going to be coming back tomorrow again at 3 o'clock, and I'll be basically finishing off the picture. So I'm going to get on with it so that I can get as much in as possible without nattering on too much, because I do have a habit of chunnering on, as you probably already know, ladies. So what I'm going to do is just pop that to one side and use that as my reference. Okay, is I'm going to start with the skin. So I've got quite close. I'm just going to grab my pencil that I'm going to start with, and then if I need to get in a little closer so that you can see the colours a little bit more, I will do. Hi Anne, how are you? Hope you're all okay. Thank you for joining me, really appreciate it. Hope you've all got your images, and I hope that you're going to have a go at colouring along at some point. It will be available in the group, you know, for quite a while. I'm not going to take it out of the group. Eventually it will probably go on my YouTube channel, but I'm going to I'll let that I'm going to edit the video, because I'm actually recording it at the same time as I'm streaming to you, so that I can make it a speed up version as well. So hi Robert, hi Doreen, thank you guys for joining. That's really lovely to see you all. Hope you're all doing well. Right, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my light flesh, which is the Polychromos colour. I'm just going to pop in here and just see, get a little bit close. I'm going to start with the shoulder. Okay, so I'm going to start with the shoulder. I'm going to do the shoulder, the arm, and if you can see here, this is the dress part on here, and then you've got a little bit of her back showing there, in there, and in there as well. So this is the skin areas, and of course her arm as well. So I'll start with the shoulder, and all I'm going to do, like I've said to you before, and I've heard it a lot, and I think a lot of people get fed up of hearing it, but it is important to maintain a nice pressure, an even pressure, and just use really gentle circular motions, because you want to build up layers rather than lay down the colour really quickly, and then, you know, you can spoil the image, and you can't take it off, but you can add it, which is where we are sort of looking at layers. So really, really gently, I'm just going from the outside, and I'm going from the outside towards the centre, really lightly, just to start off with. And this is just to pop some colour down as well, and get an idea on what sort of tone I want to do with the image, whether I want it light, soft, or if I want dark tones. So just small circular motions from the outside edge, moving in to the centre. Now this paper that I'm using is a new paper that I've got on Amazon. It was actually recommended by one of my friends, Sammy, who is also a colourist. And what I will do is later on, when I pop it onto you know, edit it and what have you, I'll put a link to the Amazon shop that supply it, and it's quite a good paper because it's got a really good tooth to it, which is what you need for your pencil crayons, so that the colour goes into the tooth and you can build it up. So I've just done a small layer. Now what I'm intending to do is to create a shine in the centre of her shoulder here, okay, and a shine down here, and then obviously in here it would be darker because of her hair and what have you. So I want to create sort of as if the light's reflecting and you've just got that nice, it just creates a more natural appearance. So again, I'll work down from the top of her dress, and really, really light pressure, just for this to set it up, if you like, on each side. Okay. You can always build that up, but you can never take a thick, heavy layer off. So I've done the lights, I'm just going to go right over it again, just to build it up. And this centre is going to be where the shine would be. Now if you imagine on somebody's elbow, this area here is quite a dark area. So with the same pencil, I haven't changed pencils yet, I'm still using the light flesh, because I want to kind of identify the shade and light areas, and then I can go back in again. So it's always building up, always building up. Just bear with me 1 second. Okay, I'm just taking my cardigan, I've got quite warm there. So back to the arm, and I'm just building up. So the area here where the elbow is going to be slightly darker. So imagine the circle of the elbow, because your elbow has that circular area. So if you see there, it's kind of highlighted that. And then underneath the dress, you're going to have some darker shadow. So just put it down gently. Again, under here. So just under this puffiness of her dress. Okay. And then in the crease of her elbow, you're going to have that similar, so very light. All you're doing is to creating a shadow. So just create, because we'll go back and build up and it'll become more apparent in a little while. Hi Susan, how are you doing? Nice to see you. Thank you for joining me. Okay, and then just round where these flowers are, I'm just going to gently create a little bit of shadow like so. Okay, and again it's a case of we'll build up as we go along. So the arm I'm happy with for the moment. I'm just going to I'm going to lay down the colour in the area here where her back is. So it's just a light amount of colour there, just to lay it down and in there. So I know the areas that are her back. Okay, and then where her hair is here, you can see that there is sort of shade there. I'm going to come in again. I have not changed my pencil yet, so I'm going to come in there with a little bit more pressure. I'm going to come in there with a little bit more pressure. So you're just seeing its shadow. That's obviously going to be quite dark because it's right in the middle. And then here, again, just a little bit more pressure. Like so. Okay. And then back up to this top bit. So we're onto a second layer. Again with the same pencil. I'm just deepening what I've already sort of created, like, okay, and again, and you can come out a little bit further. The more you come away from the edge, when you at the edge, if you're doing it dark, so you do it dark, and then you come off with the pressure where as you come to the centre. Okay, so we're building up there, and then all I'm going to do, I'm going to grab my Polychromos white, and I'm just going to pop in between those two colours. I'm just going to pop the white in so that I have the layer of white. So I'm starting to create the shine. Okay, and then down here I'm going to do the same again. I'm going to go between the two areas of colour that I've laid down. I'm just going to pop the white in, and it's starting to create the shine that I want on her skin. Okay, so that was using the light flesh and the white Prismacolour. Okay, so now I'm just going to move up to the next colour, which is the cinnamon. Okay, so we've just used light flesh, which is this one. So I'm going to use the cinnamon, which is this one. It's just slightly darker. Okay, and all I'm doing is going over the top to accentuate the shadow. So it's just giving it a little bit more depth. It's not massive, okay, but it's enough to identify you know, the lightness and the darkness. Okay, and then up to here. Now here in this bit here, you're going to have darkness. So what I'm doing is I'm just going to go up like so, to show that between these two areas, so between her dress and that part of her hair, that's nice and deep. Coming down from her nape of her neck, I'm going to do the same thing, so you're looking up there for the depth, okay? And then, if you bear with me, I'm just going to turn her around to make it easier, and I'm just going to, using sort of ovally motion, a long ovally motion, I'm going to just go round the shape that her arm, or her arm is, okay? Okay, and then into the dark areas, just to deepen it a little bit, okay? And then with the rose carmine, I'm just going to introduce just a little bit of pink, because our skin tones has pink, blue, purple, has all sorts of different colours in, but I want to make it as obviously as nice and as realistic as possible. So I'm just going over there and then down here, just adding a little bit of the pink into the back, and that should do that. Okay, here and in here. Okie dokie. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my Prismacolor white, and I'm going to merge all this together, okay? And the way you do that is you go into the centre of your colour. So you want to grab the edges of what you've put down and blend it in, and then up to the top, and then blend it out. Go from the centre, so you get the edges of what you're doing, and then you want to blend it in and out. Now I love these because the white pencils, because they blend all your work together, and they have the ability to smooth out all the work that you've put down, so it really makes it look super blended. So as many times as you need, just to go over, and then just grab your brush to, okay, and it also kind of burnishes it together as well. But can you see how that has now blended it all together? So here you can see where you've put your colours down, so you've identified the areas that you want to have the pink and the darker colour and whatnot, which we did up here. So but you could see all those edges, but we want to blend those edges out, which is what this amazing white Prismacolor pencil does, and it gives you that beautiful shine. And it also, with you going from left to right, right to left, the way that it does, it rounds it off as well, so it gives you that smoothing and rounding as well. So I'm going to come down to the arm, and I'm going to do the same thing again. So it's into the centre and pick up the edges, so you blend the edges, okay, going over the work, and then go down onto this bit, so you're smoothing it all together. Remember what those edges looked like, okay? So you've smoothed it all out and almost made it look like it's been printed. I love it. Okay, so you can see there that you've blended all your beautiful colours. You've still maintained those pinks that you wanted. You've maintained a depth here for the elbow and the crease, and a little depth under here and in here, but it's all blended and it just looks smooth and pretty. Okay, and then I'm going to do exactly the same with the back. So it's just blend it together really quick. There you go, as simple as that. And if you feel that when you have done that you want to make it maybe slightly darker, you can do. You can grab your medium flesh, and what you're doing is you're just building the layers up, but little by little, because you can't take away, but you can add. So with the medium we're just building it up just slightly, just to show you, and then you'd grab that white pencil again and you just blend those edges like so, and you smooth it back out again, and each time you're just blending out. Okay, now I have got here a beige Polychromos. I'm just want to see what that does. If I pop it over, I want to see what the depth is on that, because I haven't really used it. Okay, I'll just get my brush. Okay, and then the white again, go over it with the white. So you can build up on your depth and you can build up on shadow and your light. If you feel that's too big, that you don't want it, you can add another layer and just sort of use your pencil to flick the colour a little bit more into the shine area. Okay, so I'm quite happy with that. So now I'm going to go up to her face, and it's literally the same process again. So I'm going to start with the light flesh. So here is her neck area, and then just literally very, very gently in circular motions you're going to lay down your first layer. Okay, I'll try and do this as very lightly as I can. So I tend to, with a face, and this is a side profile, is I would leave this bit white to start off with, and just gently bring in that light flesh tone. Okay, obviously under here you are going to have it darker, but we can deepen that up later. Around the nose is going to be slightly darker, like so, and I'm just going to that's where the shadow would be for her nose. So I'm just sort of sketching out, if you like, a shading for her nose. Okay, you're going to have some shading under here and under here. So again, I haven't changed my pencil yet. I'm just trying to identify where my shading will be. So I'm just using this pencil to do that. And then you're going to have shading here in that top of the eyebrow and the eyelid. Okay, and you're going to have a little shade, yes, you're going to have shade here as well. Okay, so you've identified areas of shade. You have a little bit there and a little bit at the bottom here, like so. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to very gently blend the edges, so from the outside of where I've deepened it to the inside. Okay. Okie dokie. So then I'm going to add some blush, and with that I'm going to use the Polychromos Rose Carmine. So all I'm going to do is a very, very light circular motions from about here, and just very gently come down her face here. So you've got the sort of the apple, and then once you are confident of the area that you want the blush to be, you can just go over and layer that up a little bit more, so slightly deeper with a little bit more pressure. Okay, don't worry if it looks too dark, because we are going to blend this with that white pencil. So obviously, as long as it's not very, very deep, don't worry about it, because it will blend under that white and you'll see a beautiful pink coming through. So I'm going to grab my medium flesh, which is the Polychromos. I'm just going to deepen a little bit more here, a little bit more around the eye and here, and obviously she's going to have there, and then here, like so. Going to grab that light flesh again, because I'm going to go over what I've just done to blend it, so you get it, you're still getting your deepness, your depth, sorry, and but you're building it up. Okay, so that's your light flesh over the top there. Put a little bit more. I'm going to grab that medium flesh again, and I'm going to very gently pop in this shadow here, because that's what is showing the where your nose is going to, well, where her nose is going to be, and where her face would kind of go in. So it's separating the nose from the face. Do you understand what I mean? Okay. So again, you can see you've got all your areas identified for depth, shade and light. And then we're going to grab that fabulous pencil again. So you're going to grab your Prismacolour and you're going to blend it all together. Okay. So it's just a case of blending it. I just use my brush to brush it off. So just blend there. So from your white area all the way across, blend that in. Okay, use a brush to clean it off. Okay, then what I'm going to do is grab my light flesh again. I'm just going to fill where the white is. I just want to take some of that top layer. There we go. Because her profile is the flowers over her face, her hair is over her face, so she has quite a dark profile. with the lights coming this way, hitting down here, here, and down there, so that it all will tie in. Okay, so just gently, and then over the top of her eyelid. Okay, grab your white again and blend the eyelid and blend above and below. Okay, so you can see we've got a lovely blend, which is showing her rosy cheek, the darkness under her hair there and there, into the crease there that would be in her nose, but I will deepen it again in a second, and under her chin area there, which is going to have some depth as well. Hi Leslie, how are you, honey? Hope you're doing okay. I keep forgetting to have a look up at this chat. If you want to ask any questions, ask away. No problem. Hope you're all colouring along. Right, so I'm going to grab that rose carmine again and very gently, in the shape that we created, the circular shape that we've created, I'm just lightly going over the top of that. So it'll standing it out just a little bit more. Back to the medium flesh, and I'm just going to put a little bit where that shadow is, just to bring that forward. Sorry, just to send that back. Okay. And I think I'm happy with the face. Like that. Just going to add a little bit more white to that shoulder. Okay, so I'm quite happy with the skin on there as it is. So the next bit that I'm going to move on to is the dress. So I'm going to use, I'm going to do a blue, I think. So I'm going to use the ultramarine, well, the light ultramarine on the Polychromos. Okay. And I'm going to put down my first layer. So it's circular motions. Okay. And let's pop that first layer down. Don't worry too much about the circles, because these ones, I'm either going to use a glitter pen or I'm going to use a gel pen. Probably use a gel pen actually, because it'll dry a lot quicker even. Right, so that first layer of blue, just ignore that for a second. Let's get that first layer down. Okay, I'm going to do exactly the same here. So small circular motions, or large. When you come to a large space, you could do large oval motions. Okay, so small circular motions in there, and then large oval motions. All it does is it just evens out that first layer. So it's a light layer. Okay, and with the dress here, I've again just a light layer. That lovely ultramarine blue. Okay. Okay, so I've got all the dress area covered. I'm just going to go back up to here, and I'm just gently, I'm using flicking motions just so that I don't overdo the colour. So I'm just going to turn around, and in these folds I'm going to the ends of the folds and just flicking out as far as that motion will allow me. So okay, and then in this fold and this fold. Okay, I'm going to turn her around, and I'm going to do exactly the same from this side. So in each little fold, starting from here, I'm just, as far as the flicking motion that I do will allow, I'm just flicking out the blue. And I haven't changed the light ultramarine colour, I've simply gotten over and created another layer. So the centre is the lightest layer, and the edges is going to be building up. Okay, so again, I would do it 3 times. Okay, so 3 flicking motions for the first, sorry, for the second layer, like so. Okay, and then I'm going to grab the next colour, the next sort of darkest colour, which is the phthalo blue. Again, that's one of the Polychromos. I'm going to go into the corner, but I'm not going to flick out quite as far, so it's just a smaller flicking motion. So literally just so that you can see that you've deepened the corner, but you haven't gone right out. Okay, there we go. One there, one there, and then I'm going to turn her around so that I can do the same this side. Okay, so that's starting to deepen the dress. I'm going to go back to the ultramarine, and I'm just going to extend the ultramarine colour from the phthalo blue colour. Okay, so I'm sort of going from the mid of the darker colour just to extend it out. Okay, nice motions. Then turn it around again, and again from the centre of where that phthalo blue was, just flick out the ultramarine colour. Okay, so what you can see there is that you're naturally getting 2 shades on each side as it's coming into the centre of the shoulder. Okay, and it will be naturally creating the white highlight here, which is in correlation with her shoulder highlight coming down her dress and down into her arm. So it's all combining to look right. So the last thing I'm going to do is for that little sleeve area is I'm going to grab my Helio Blue Reddish, which is quite dark, and I'm just doing a tiny bit in the corner, literally just, can you see, just at that corner, because that's really highlighting it and creating depth for those shoulders. Sorry, I beg your pardon, for the creases in the dress. Okay, and then you can just follow the line if you want to, you don't have to. You follow the line with that deeper colour, and it just deepens those creases. Okay, do the same in here. I would actually colour all of this bit in because it's underneath creases and whatnot. Okay, and then what I would do is grab my trusty white pencil, and where the white is that's naturally created the shadow, just in the circular motions, just circular motion that together, so to blend it. Okay, and then take it out slightly wider, and that will just blend those colours together and soften them as well. Okay, so you've got a really lovely soft sleeve. Okay, so I'm going to go back to that later with the gel pen, possibly tomorrow when we're finishing off. So I've grabbed my ultramarine again, and I'm just really going over just to highlight it. And smooth it out, you know, just add a little bit of the colour to, so that it's not too smooth, if that makes sense. Okay, and now I've got the colour that I need to start doing the same with the dress. So under her sleeve you're going to have deep depth. I need to learn to speak, don't I, really? Or at least get my words right. Okay. And then obviously under here it's going to be a little bit darker. I was checking on the time, so we've got 3:45, so we've got another 15 minutes or so. Okay. And if this turns into a 3-parter, I'd rather do that and do it slow than do it quickly and spoil it. So it may be that it's another hour tomorrow and then whatever to finish off on Monday. Okay. So I'm just, with the same pencil, just identifying light and shade areas, really. Okay. So if that's the ultramarine, so then the other colour we used up here was the phthalo blue, and literally you're coming out from dark areas with this and deepening them. Okay, and down here, up here. And don't forget, you don't have to sit and listen to me doing this if you don't want to. What I'll do with each video, whilst I'm streaming live, I've also recorded it, so I will create and edit a speed version as well. So you can just watch the sped up version rather than, you know, if you're a a seasoned colour and you don't want to hear the process, or you just don't want to hear my voice, you can watch that. So they'll be released together. Okie dokie, so then I'm going to come back with the ultramarine blue, and I'm going to go over those edges. Okay, so we're just softening the edges, and I'm using a little bit more pressure where I'm blending the edges together, but when I'm coming closer to the centre of the back, I'm just laying off on that pressure so that it's not as deep. Okay, and then I'm grabbing the Helio Reddish, and I'm just going to flick up, you know, like we did before, from the dark areas. So I'm flicking up depth into the dress. Okay, so just bring that down a little bit. Okay, a little bit more depth down here, down there. And don't worry about the pencil going into the flower, because I'm going to erase that in a second. And then a little bit more depth down here. Okay, and then again, I'm going to grab that ultramarine. I'm just going to blend so that that doesn't look quite as brash. Okay, not quite as harsh is the word I'm looking for, not brash. Okay, and then again, I'm going to get that lovely white, and I'm going to blend that all together. So from the centre where it's white, and then blend it out. Okay, and again from the centre and blend it out. Just give it a little bit of a brush. Okay, again, as I said, don't worry about those bubbles, because I'm going to go over those at the end with either a white gel pen or a white paint pen, or I'm not sure yet, we'll see. Okay, and then get your brush. So there you've got the dress, which is all blended nicely together. Okay, I'm just blending those pieces together. I'm going to grab now the Helio Blue Reddish. I'm just gently going to go over the top with that blue colour. Okay, okay, and then I'm going to grab the original colour and burnish those edges. Okay, so you've got a nice, I'm just going to pop back in here and put a little bit of a lighter, a little bit more depth in with the ultramarine. Okay, Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab my little Derwent eraser, because I've got some pencil in here. I don't want that mixing with the colour that I'm going to colour it with next time. Okay, so let's get rid of the okay, I've got a little bit in here in her hair, and I've got some in the leaves, but I can just going to take that out of the hair. And out of these leaves. I don't want the blue and the green mixing, so it's a godsend is this little eraser, to be honest. Okay, so we're coming up to just after 10 to 4. So what I will do is I will pick a colour for my roses, and I'm just going to put the first layer down so that that's prepared for the next show, because obviously the next show, for the next live. So I'm going to, with the rose, I'm going to make a pink rose, so I'm just going to put, I'm using pink rose from Polychromos, not Polychromos, Prismacolours. I'm just putting down a really thin layer. Now I'm holding it here, right up at the top, because I want that first layer to be ever so light. Okay, and I'm just going over it. Okay, literally over the whole thing to put the first layer of colour down. Okay, so that's the first layer. Okay, I'm going to grab the light green, which is the Polychromos, and I'm going to do the same. I'm going to put my first light layer on the leaves. Okay, so I'm not doing any shading or anything like that yet. I'm just getting the first layer down so that we can make a start doing the depth and whatnot in the next video. I'm going to do the same with all the leaves, so it's a really light, oopsie daisy, sorry about that, a really light layer. And then with these I'm just putting okay, and again we've got a leaf up here, so I'm just going to do those. I've got a couple of leaves actually, sorry. Okay, we've got some leaves on here, so I'm going to do the same thing again, just that first layer. Okay, let's have a look how else we can prepare, just so that we've got a starter for 10 on our next video. Let's have a think. If we right, this little flower here, I've just got my middle purple pink, and so up here this one, and I'm just going to do, I'm not going to go right to the edge, I'm just going to go from the middle to about 3/4 of the way. Okay, and that's on all those petals. Just from the middle to about 3/4 of the way to start off with. Okay, so I'm just going to write down, so we've got a magenta flower, just so I don't forget, and then the rose we've done, I've started that and done that in the pink. Okay, just so I don't forget the colours that I did, and when I go to do the layering, I need to be layering a proper colour. So I think this is that. So I'm going to grab that magenta again, and from the bottom I'm going to just go 3/4 of the way up. Okay. And it's just that first layer, so we've got a starting point. Sorry about that, I'm not showing you on the camera, I apologise. So we've got a starting point straight away when we come back tomorrow. Okay, I'm just going to grab that light green again, and I'm just going to pop that there. Right, so we're on just coming up for 4 o'clock, so it's been an hour. I'm going to just pop this down so that you can see what we've done so far. Okay, so today we have done the face, the body, her dress, and we've put the first layers down for the rose and this side of the flowers. This side we'll do, and we can finish off in later ones. So when we come back tomorrow, I'm going to start off doing the finishing off the flowers, so adding the depth and whatnot, and I'm going to finish off her dress here with the tie area at the back, and then make a start on the hair, and again we'll get as far as we can in an hour, and we can, if needs be, I can make another one to finish off. I'd rather do that, as I say, than than rush it and make a mistake, and it's just a lot of work gone to waste if you make a big mistake, and it doesn't look right and it doesn't make you feel good either. So thank you very much for joining me today, I've really appreciated it. I hope that you can follow along if you have downloaded the image from Laety Esperanza's site. I'll put down that information under the video information in the notes section, if you like. I'll also let you know this new paper that I'd purchased, and I'll pop down the link that goes to the Amazon site. And I think that is about it for now. So I'm going to pop off and do the editing for this and get it on YouTube as well. But if you pop back tomorrow again at 3 o'clock, and I'll be back to finish off as much as I can in an hour. Okay, so thank you very much. I hope you're all well in the group, and I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks very much. Bye.